Alright, we're back out. Gonna do a little fishing today. Finally cooled down a little bit. It was in the upper 80s for a couple of weeks there. It dropped down to 70 today. We had a cold front, storm front roll through, so that cooled everything down. I haven't really fished quite a while, so I have no idea what kind of bite we got going on, but we'll see how that cold front affects it. All right, so this is the main lake up here, and then there's a separation with a pipe that goes through to the back lake. We're going to be trying that area there. Water level was up for a while there, but looks kind of average right now. We got this stained water, I guess you call it, so we're going to be probably fishing both sides of this, and there's a little passageway through there to the back lake. We can fish the other side of it. Probably using a bobber, and gonna use a little jig like this, and maybe a crappie nibble on it to give it a little more flavor. There's definitely carp in here. You can see the bubbles coming up, so probably carp digging around in here, but let's see what this looks like here. See, it's pretty shallow here. You can see the pipe that feeds in between the two sections. There's some minnows there. So I think we'll start out with the bobber first, I guess. Try to avoid getting hung up. So I don't know how deep it is here, and we'll just try and get down a few feet and see what we can do. All right. So here's our little crappie setup. Got going. Even a decent sized bluegill might take that. We got some minnows around. I thought I saw a turtle dive down in there, so let's see how deep this water is. It's not taking my bobber. The bobber's not coming up. I don't know why. Can't imagine it's being that shallow. I'm only down a couple of feet here. We'll try a little shallower, I guess. Might have to throw it out a little bit further if that bobber doesn't get pulled down. Unless it's not enough, might not be enough weight. Might have a smaller bobber I need to use. Guess I'll have to turn off this music.
Believe it or not, this dog used to be the pickiest eater on planet Earth.
See if we can find it. Yeah, see, the bobber will go down. It just seems like the depth is pretty shallow in certain areas. See if we can get something to take this thing. Looks like might be some little fish down there messing around with it. Just need something to eat it and take off, pretty much. Might have to cast out a little bit further, try to get into some depth, more depth. Could be those little minnows kind of picking at it. Felt a little weight on there. I don't know if that was weeds or what that was. We'll throw it out a little further, see if it pulls that bobber down. Yeah, that bobber goes down, so it's just really super shallow right here. It's pretty much overcast, but I can feel a little heat, like the sun is trying to break through here. I can't imagine it being that shallow. It's got to be enough weight to pull that bobber down. I might have to go a little smaller on the bobber, maybe. This is just so shallow over here. I'm going to try the other side and see if it pulls this bobber down. Because I know I've got some depth over here. Out in the middle here. Yeah, it definitely pulls that bobber down. So it's just that it's very shallow over there. Probably a lot of weeds in there too. See if anything takes any interest in this. I know a lot of people fish this area on both sides of this for bluegills and crappies. A lot of people using minnows, so probably have a better shot with that. Something jumped in over there, a frog or something. So it'd be pretty difficult to cast on the other side because of that water being so shallow. But we might try that instead of using the bobber. Now we're sitting right in front of this pipe here. So this water probably got really heated up from that warm weather. Just that rain one day and it cooling off today is not going to cool this water down very much. Feels pretty warm. Like bath water for these fish right now. The nibble's still on there. See if we can find anything at all in this area. Definitely carp bubbles around. I saw a big splash on the other side from a carp breaching. Big splash over there from someone throwing something in the water, I think. See back there's a little stream that feeds out. And sometimes you can catch a little fish back there. We can try back there if we have to. Try over there on that side. Try and cover this whole area here. I've tried pretty much around this whole lake before like this, and I didn't get a single bite with this setup. I think it's mainly catfish and carp in here. Used to be able to get bass in here years ago. And crappie and bluegill. is the middle of the day, but it is overcast, so there could certainly be some kind of a bite. Alright, so we're back on this other side here. I've gone even shallower to try and get this bobber to stay up. Because the water must be really shallow here. Should try to keep this thing above the bottom in the weed line. Looks like it's staying up here. Try bringing it a little closer, see if it'll stay up. Get it closer to the where the pipe comes out here. See if anything takes an interest. Looks like there's a little fish that just kind of poking at it, but not really aggressive enough to eat it or big enough. They just keep kind of poking at it. Well, we got a nice grab there. See if something will get a little more aggressive and take it. Now that we're able to stay up above the weed line in the bottom. Now it's laying on the side. A lot of minerals out there. Well, sometimes when it just lays on its side, it means something took it and just sitting there. I'll try off to the side a little bit here. As soon as we threw it in there, it just starts, bobber just starts bobbing around. Must be a lot of minnows and maybe shiners and stuff. Taking swipes at it. Looks like we've only got a couple of feet of water here though. The bobber sideways. Could be on some weeds or something. Let's try throwing it out a little bit further, trying to get a little deeper water. See if we can find a little pocket of fish somewhere out here where they're hanging out at. I know in the back there in that stream, there's a good possibility I could get a little smallie or something out of there, depending on how much water is back there. If there's enough water running in the stream. Looks like we might have to head back there because doesn't seem to be anything taking an interest in our jig here. They're probably well fed in here from all the people fishing and throwing minnows in here and stuff. Or they're taken out. I don't know what the rule is as far as taking fish out of here. Every so often you see a bunch of minnows scatter, like there could be something a little bit bigger around them and spook them. This is pretty much as good an area as any. This is the kind of fishing here where you just put a couple of lines out and sit in your lawn chair and hope something comes. It's not like feeding frenzy or anything. Yeah, it would be pretty difficult to cast here, but we can try a couple. But you can't really let it drop. You pretty much have to cast it and get it and bring it in and hope you catch something's attention. We won't need this bobber in the back part, so let's bring it in here because I think we're right in front of this pipe here. See all those minnows scattered when I brought my bobber in here. There doesn't seem to be anything else in here to scare them though. Right there. Something could be chasing them around, or they could just be chasing each other around. Alright, let's see if we can do anything without this bobber. We've got the nice braided line. Here we've got the setup here. We got the nice braided line. We got our new setup we got in the beginning of the summer. The legless reel. We've got like a medium light pole right now. Let's see what happens if we make some casts and kind of just reel this in. Sometimes they need that swimming action to chase. And for the back part, for the smallies, I may have to change over. Now my nibble's gone, but I don't think something ate it. I think I got hung up on something. Well, you can try this jig in the back, but I think I'll do better with my other go-to smallie jig. So I think we're gonna head back there. Alright, so we're heading to the back lake. Nah, you?
I caught about 8 carp.
Oh yeah? Yeah, they're definitely in there. Yeah, it's just for carp. This is so grown in back here. I'm gonna have to check for ticks. Definitely tick season. That's a shame when you go fishing these places. You always got to be concerned about ticks. I don't remember that in the past being a huge problem, but I was pretty much fishing the river all the time. You don't really get ticks fishing the river because you don't have weeds like this to deal with. So we'll take this walk back here and see what this looks like. Alright, so we are back at the stream. Water is lower than it was when we were here last time, but we might have a shot at getting something here at this stream mouth here. Back here in the stream, it looks pretty low. Got a lot of weeds on top. This is going to be pretty difficult to try and fish this area back here. There's a lot of weed cover around it. It'd be making it hard to get to unless we actually went into the water right there, which we could, and we could flip it in that little hole in the weeds and hope something grabs it before we get hung up. I don't know if I'm down for walking in that water. It looks like we got a mulberry tree right here. See these mulberries? Those are good. That's like a blackberry. Those are really good to eat. So if I were to try and walk in there, I would have to get over that log there, and then I would be on flat ground. Let's see what it looks like around the corner here. See if there's an opening. I can just slip it out to that hole. Looks like it's padded down, so people are definitely doing this. There isn't much depth there. You have to flip it in that little opening there and zip it through there, basically. So I guess we can try that. Try that first. This isn't my typical go-to jig for like a stream or a river with moving water. This is going to be really, I don't even know if it's going to be possible with those weeds. You really have to hope something grabs it in a couple seconds before. We don't really have an angle to pull it through here. Try to start a little further back. Got something. There we go. What do we get? Got a little bass. Got lucky there, throwing it in just that little hole there, and he was around. There he is. A little hand-sized bass. Got a bullfrog there. We'll try to continue flipping it in there. Maybe we can get to that back part there too, where there's an opening in the weeds there. I'm just trying to flip it in the hole here. I think I had another bite right there. Could have been the same fish, who knows. Trying to get it to all the way to the other side of this opening here without dropping it in the weeds. So really don't have to go in the water here. So we can pretty much hit the spot. We hit the spot, we got the bass that was sitting in there. Sometimes you'll get a bass, sometimes you'll get a crappie, bluegill, or all the above. Just depends if and how many fish are hanging out here. At least I know this jig works. Pretty simple minnow jig. Try this a little closer area. I can't really keep it there without getting into the weeds. Yeah, those kids that were over there in the corner there said they got a big catfish, so that's pretty much what you can get over here. I'm going to try and get it further. Got weeds. Try to get it right on that edge and cover this whole little hole right here. We found a pole laying back here that we had to find. It's a nice, well, it's a Shakespeare, so it's like a, you know, generic type pole, but it's broken. It's broken in half. This is a heavy pole too. It's broken in half right after the where it comes apart. So if you have the top section of this, it could be useful. Can't imagine it unless someone got snagged and they just kept pulling and cracked it in half. And you see where the thing got cracked off clean. Guess we could take the bottom of it. There's a good chance that the top half of something else will slide in there. Alright, so let's see if we can walk in here. See if we can find a trail here to walk. And this water isn't, you know, more than a foot or two, so if we can get over this log here, we'll have a shot. Unfortunately, I have socks on, so they're gonna get ruined, but I'd rather have socks on walking in a stream or a river or something, kind of protect you from stuff. All right, so we got a good position here. I'm gonna go a little to the left here to try and avoid hitting that hanging tree, so then we can cast and we can run the whole length of this and see what we can see. But we're in, so see if we'll have a little longer stretch here, so maybe something will follow it a little longer. Just got to try not to hit that tree. This will give a fish a little more time to grab it. I should probably put a nibble back on there just to give it a little more, some flavor. Yeah, we hit that back edge there. Whoa, something really grabbed it. That was a little bass. I don't know if that was the same one or not. He really hammered that thing though. He came out of those weeds from the other side. He came across and made a run on it. So this is giving us a little more water to work with. Something else. There's fish pretty much hitting this thing as I go, but they could be too small. You gotta hope maybe there's something with a little more size hiding in those weeds. I'm gonna get a little different angle here to make doubly sure I don't hook those hanging branches, because those branches are full of other people's fishing lines and lures and jigs. Saw some bubbles there. I had a little nibble there. Saw some bubbles there on the shore over there. Could have been a turtle or a frog. Alright, I'm gonna point this camera down a little bit more. See if we can get something else out of this little hole here. I'm just kind of reeling it sometimes. Sometimes I'm giving it a little twitch. A lot of times you can just hang it like this. And just jig it. Got snagged in the weeds there. I'll try and hit that little hole in between the two weeds there. Perfect shot. That could have been that same fish again. There's a heron down there. See if we can get let's get a video of that guy real quick. Something jumped right there. Got the heron out here fishing with us. So maybe there are fish back there. Oh, he's on the move. He's going back towards the back part. Alright. So let's try running through here, but I think we may have only got the only guy hanging out in here. I don't know if that was a nibble or not. This is actually better than using my normal feather jigs that I use for like streams and rivers, because that would get all full of algae tossing it in here. We had a kind of a bigger splash off that edge there. Like maybe there could be fish hanging out in these weeds. I had a nibble there. Snag. Sometimes they'll hit it right on the drop. Sometimes they'll chase it. Can't go too slow though, because you'll end up getting snagged. These fish are hitting, but they're probably too small. I could go, I mean, if I were to go even tinier on this jig, I could probably get, if they're little bluegills or something. Got snagged there. I'm just trying to change my speed to see if I can entice something to hit this. It's pretty much the only little spot I could fish. I think there might be a branch back there or something. that maybe the fish are hiding out in. So what I keep hitting. Yeah, I don't know if that was the same fish or not, but it looked like it. Something was really trying to grab it right there.